Chapter 2 looks at the history of sociology. Sometimes textbooks can go into a detailed chronology of what happened and when, and which sociologist did which kind of theory at a particular place and time. That isn't the point of this chapter. This chapter is about understanding sociology in its context, because fundamentally how we think and how we understand society is based on what time period we live in, which society we live in, and the experiences around us. And the first key trend we need to understand was the emergence of the Age of Enlightenment, that period of time in the 1800s where societies moved from a very traditional ritual based society where religions and traditional rules kind of guided how we acted and made decisions, to one in which rationality and logic emerged. So societies went from valuing astrology to valuing astronomy. People went from witch doctors and witchcraft and herbal remedies to medicine in order to cure illnesses and disease. At the same time, the other great transformation was the ways in which industry worked in society. We had moved from an agrarian society where farming was happening, where farming was how food was produced and trade was local between groups, to an industrial revolution where great factories emerged in big cities and kind of trade occurred across the country and then even later on across the world. And so at the same time as the structures of society were being developed and being understood within sociology, an emergent sociology also looked at the more interactional, how people interact within groups within societies. So the Chicago School, which we profile in the chapter, is one of the great schools of sociology that really looked at how people interacted, that how Polish immigrants to America adopted a Polish-American identity rather than just becoming purely American. We look at how people make sense of the self and one's own identity by the work of George Herbert Mead. And it's having to balance this combination within sociology, the focus on structures and on how wide-scale society influenced people at the same time as the micro-agentic features, the agency that individuals have to change their societies. As you'll see throughout the book, this tension between understanding the broader structures and understanding individual agency is something that we come back to again and again because it's one of they're the two key issues in how to understand societies. And the history of sociology is not just about the accomplishments of white men. We also look at the contributions to sociology by women and people of colour and recognise their important contribution to the discipline throughout this period of time. To conclude the chapter, we think about how this history speaks to what sociology is today. We hope it's diverse, we hope it's inclusive and recognises these broad contributions.